Hello everybody, it's Miss Burge. It's good to see you, and I hope this video message finds you enjoying your summer tremendously. In the next couple of days, I hope to push out a couple of videos. I hope these videos will help you understand the vocab I assign to you. It's expected that you are going to take a test with those vocab on the second day that we meet after school starts. So let's get going. Statistics, the name of this course. What is statistics? Statistics is the science of learning from data. But how and what does that mean exactly? What is data? Is data just sheer numbers? Is data what you see in the formulas that you use in your calculus class, in your pre-calc class? Not quite. In the context of statistics, data means numerical values with a context. In other words, the numbers 1, 2, 3, a million, a billion, 500 million don't mean very much unless they're put in a certain context. And in statistics, we study the numerical values in that context, and then we derive meaning, draw statements and conclusions based on that. So again, data is the numerical values with context used in the learning of statistics, and that is statistics. And here's a bunch of words that you're supposed to know. I know that as soon as you see that, some of your faces turn green, but I want to let you know that by the end of this course, and hopefully a lot sooner, you'll realize that this is the most useful course that you've ever taken in your K through 12 career, and possibly in amongst many years ahead when you go to college, because it's the closest to real life. Now, our goal obviously is for you to get a 5 in your AP exam, and for that purpose, I need you to read very carefully and write very precisely, and I'm going to hold you up to that standard. Okay, so let's come back to these words, and this time I rearranged it, and pay attention to how I split them in left half and right half, and there are some bigger numbers. So let's unpack some of this. We already talked about statistics and how we learn about statistics through data. And under statistics, there are two categories. One type of statistics, you have to make an inference, and that's called inferential statistics. We're going to cover that for the second half of our school year. And the first half, we're going to learn about descriptive statistics. Very straightforward. It's just a description. So all the statistics you've learned so far, mean, mode, max, minimum, average height, preferences for food, preferences for color, preferences for smell, number of home runs, all of these are descriptive statistics. Okay? Now, under data, there are also two categories, population and sample. And sample is, we're more familiar with it, but we're going to dig into that. But let's start with population. Population means for the subject that you are studying, everything included in that subject is your population. So if your subject is the average height of all the students at Dwight Morrow High School, then you have to get the height for every single person, every single student at Dwight Morrow High School. Okay, let me repeat that. If your subject is the average height of Dwight Morrow High School, then your population is the height for every single student. You have to measure every single student and check them off in your roster, and then you can calculate the average. Obviously, that's not an easy thing to do when you have a campus with over 1,000 students. So the smart thing to do is probably to take a sample of it, and better yet, take a random sample. We're going to dig into that too much later. Now, to take a sample, let's say if I just measure every 10 students. So I count from the morning, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Skip 9, I measure number 10, 11, 12, and so on and so forth until 19. then I only measure number 20. So rather than measuring over 1,000 students, I only measure approximately 100 students, and that's much more measurable in a day. And I don't need to worry about all of those irregular things, such as a student doesn't show up on that day, right? As long as I count every 10, I measure a student, I'm good. I got a random sample. And so now, with that sample, I come up with a number. And let's say the average height of that sample is 5 feet 8 inches, 5'8". So that's our result for the sample. And in statistics, because we draw that conclusion from a random sample, we can then make an inference about the population that the average height of the high school students at Dwight Morrow is approximately 5'8" as well. We're going to come back to that. I just made an inference. Okay? Now, the next two concept is parameter and statistics. Let's go back to that sample. I measured approximately 100 kids. I came up with an average height of 5'8". And that number, that numerical value, 5'8", is a statistic, without the S, statistic for that sample. In other words, that numerical value for that sample is called statistic. Statistic for sample, okay? 2S, double S. After I made that inference, I made the conclusion that the average height for the entire high school students at Dwight Morrow is approximately 5'8", right? That's an inference. But if I went ahead and measured everybody on the entire campus, everybody in the building, more than 1,000 students, I measure every single one of them, even if it took me 3-4 days. I finished all of that. I took an average, and maybe my average came out to be 5 feet and 5 feet and 7 inches. So that number, 5'7", is called a parameter. A parameter measures the population. The statistic measures the sample. Again, let me say that again. The parameter measures the population. The statistic measures the sample. So the P's have to match up, and the S's have to match up as well. Okay, so I hope that I made it clear how you can measure the statistic of a sample and then make an inference so that you can make a statement about the population. That process is called inferential statistics. Census is really easy. Census is when your population size is very manageable. So let's say now that I'm hiding in the kitchen doing this video, I won't be able to make dinner for my children. So I'm also lazy for the day. So I want to just go out and buy everybody pizza. I only have 4 kids. It will be really dumb for me to take a sample of my children, obviously. So what do? I go to, well, first of all, what's my population? My population is my 4 children. What do? I go to them and get everybody's preference. So I get the parameter, right? And I get a census. Then I go out and buy the pizza and feed my children. So that is it. I hope this short video will help you understand some of the vocabulary. And if you follow my email direction and send me your assignment, your suggested assignment, that would be great. I look forward to reading them. Thank you. Bye-bye now.